Before we begin, take a breath. Look at the places you trust most, your church, your community, your rituals. Now imagine discovering that beneath those very foundations lies something darker than anyone could have guessed. If you're ready, stay with me. Because once we open the door beneath this church, you won't forget what we find. It began on a Sunday like any other. Sunlight filtered through stained glass, painting the pews in jeweled colors. Children shuffled toward the front, palms pressed together. The choir hummed a warm-up, the organ exhaled a low chord. And at the pulpit stood Pastor Samuel Grayson. Early 50s, salt and pepper hair, clerical collar, voice smooth and commanding. People said he was a blessing to the town, a man who visited the sick, paid bills for struggling families, and carried burdens so others could walk lighter. Then one Monday, he didn't show up. At first, explanations circulated easily. He'd gone on retreat. He was visiting a mission. A neighbor claimed his car had been spotted near the county line. People clung to those rumors, because believing something ordinary was easier than entertaining something dreadful. But by Tuesday evening, the church elders filed a missing person report. The sanctuary fell into a hush that week, as if waiting for footsteps that never came. Evelyn Carter, a loyal parishioner with a silver cross around her neck, told reporters firmly, "He will be back. He is a man of God." She prayed aloud on the church lawn, her cardigan pulled tight, her eyes unwavering in devotion. Detective Lane, however, saw a different picture. Rugged, trench coat worn, eyes sharp with suspicion, he had spent his career learning that trust can be a mask. The crowd at the church didn't strike him as grieving, they struck him as willfully blind. By midweek, anomalies surfaced. Church financial ledgers showed generous donations, but numbers shifted strangely. Money seemed to pass through accounts like water through fingers. Lane asked for invoices. He asked for access to storage rooms. Keys were provided, but not for one door. A narrow, padlocked door beneath the stairwell. Mark Reyes, a restless journalist in his 30s, noticed it immediately. He photographed the heavy lock, his camera catching its cold gleam. He asked why a church basement would be sealed. Elders mumbled about foundation damage. Evelyn insisted it was in used storage. But Lane knew better. Locks without keys rarely signaled innocence. By Thursday, the maintenance worker mentioned another detail, a persistent smell of damp earth near the choir room wall. He had searched everywhere, but the source seemed to seep from nowhere. Lane filed the note away. On Friday evening, armed with a warrant, Lane and Reyes returned with a locksmith. The padlock surrendered with a metallic snap. The door groaned open, releasing the breath of a space long forgotten. A narrow staircase spiraled downward into darkness. Lane's flashlight carved a beam through the air, illuminating stone walls, cobwebs, and dust thick enough to choke. At the bottom lay a room absent from any blueprints. Abandoned pews leaned in corners. Wooden beams braced a low ceiling. Crates with faded stencils sat stacked along the walls. In the center, a table waited, on it a ledger, a binder tied with twine, and a wooden box with a brass latch. Lane opened the ledger first. Names. Sums. And beside many, the word assurances. Not charity. Not offerings. They were payments, dues, perhaps, extracted under pressure. Next, the binder. Inside, plastic sleeves containing letters, photographs, receipts. Evidence of secrets people thought were safe. Affairs. Debts. Confessions. Blackmail disguised as pastoral care. Reyes's camera clicked furiously, each flash capturing another piece of the puzzle. Evelyn, still at the stairs, shook her head and whispered, "This is a mistake. He helped people. These are blessings, not sins." But Lane had seen this before, goodwill used as leverage. Then Reyes noticed it, a second door, half hidden in shadow. Smaller, set flush against the stone wall. Its padlock was heavier, newer. Someone had been down here recently. Lane crouched, running his fingers across the seam. On the floor lay a curled scrap of a photograph. On its back, a date, just 3 months ago. Beneath it, a name written in ink. Pastor Samuel Grayson. Lane rose, flashlight steady, his breath caught in his chest. And then, from behind that locked door, came a sound. The click of a switch. The low, steady hum of a recorder whirring to life. The recorder hummed in the silence. Lane called for bolt cutters, and with a final crunch, the newer padlock fell. The door swung open to reveal a narrow chamber lined with shelves. Not of hymnals or linens, but files, dozens of them. Manila folders fat with secrets. At a small desk sat the tape recorder, reels turning as if it had been waiting. Lane pressed play. Confession, came the voice. Calm, steady, unmistakably Pastor Grayson. Not mine. Theirs. They came to me broken, seeking guidance. And I gave it. But proof, too, proof I could use to protect them, or remind them. Evelyn gasped, hand at her throat. That's not him, she whispered, but the voice continued, reciting names. Local officials. Parishioners. Business owners. Grayson had been recording his flock for years, turning their secrets into weapons. The files confirmed it. Letters confessing affairs. Receipts of quiet payoffs. Even unsigned police statements, hidden away. And in one folder, a photograph, Grayson beside a young man who had vanished 3 months earlier. This was no shepherd. This was a predator investments. The town split instantly. Some wept, betrayed. Others clung to denial, claiming the evidence was planted. Evelyn insisted through tears that Grayson had been framed. But Lane's team kept uncovering more. Days of cataloging revealed dozens of tapes. In some, Grayson coaxed confessions with gentle tones. In others, his voice hardened, pressing for compliance. Each reel was another nail in the coffin of his reputation. Mark Reyes's article exploded, the basement beneath the pulpit. It spread far beyond the county, pulling national eyes onto the small town. Donations dried up. The diocese cut ties. Grayson's once revered name became synonymous with betrayal. Still, the central question remained, where was he? Witnesses claimed sightings, a man in a bald cap at a gas station, someone slipping onto a bus heading south. Lane suspected a darker possibility, that someone complicit had helped Grayson disappear. Then investigators found something worse. Behind a false panel at the back of the shelves, a tunnel sloped into earth. At its end, another room. Smaller. Colder. Here lay belongings, a purse. A watch. A child's backpack. Each tagged by dust but unmistakably personal. And in the center of the room stood a wooden cross nailed into a support beam, initials carved deep into the grain. Some matched missing persons from years past. Others belonged to names no one recognized. Reyes lifted his camera, but for the first time, his hands shook. Lane whispered the initials aloud, each one a life that had vanished under the town's nose. This wasn't just extortion. It was something far worse. The discovery broke the community in half. Some still defended the pastor, convinced dark forces had framed him. Others demanded full excavation of the grounds. Crews unearthed more hidden chambers, each revealing layers of secrecy stretching back decades. Evelyn Carter vanished from public life. Some claimed she moved away. Others swore they saw her at night, leaving flowers on the church steps. But Pastor Samuel Grayson was never found. Some believed he lived under another name, shielded by false papers. Others whispered he'd been silenced by someone more powerful than himself. His absence became part of the legend. Detective Lane retired soon after, though the case never left him. In his study, one tape stayed locked in his drawer. Late at night, when the quiet grew too heavy, he played it. Grayson's voice never wavered. People want to believe. That's their weakness. And belief, in the wrong hands, is the most dangerous weapon of all. The church was condemned, its doors barred, its basement sealed. Yet the steeple still stood, a hollow monument to betrayed trust. Reporters came, specials aired, strangers snapped photos. Locals avoided walking too close. And the legend endured. A pastor who built power on secrets. A basement turned into a vault of sins. A town scarred by betrayal. And one lesson whispered whenever the church's shadow fell across the street. What you trust most can hide what you fear most.